This presentation covers the installation of light steel framing. As we know, light steel framing uses story-high wall panels that are delivered in bundles suitable for one area of the floor. One lorry can deliver 30 to 50 panels that are suitable to build 2 houses or 4 apartments. It's very important for the light steel installer to agree the installation plan at the pre-start meeting with the main contractor, preferably around about 3 months before the start of the project. Crane capacity is an important aspect of this, and normally it's typically 35 tons for the lower levels and 50 tons for the upper levels, depending on the reach of the crane. Also, the crane must be dedicated to the use of the light steel installer during the light steel installation package. Steel beams, posts and stairs are often installed as part of this work. Here we see the delivery of color-coded wall panels. In this case, you can see the different color codes that are used on one particular floor area. And it's also important that the crane is positioned strategically to be able to lift not only just wall panels but also other materials to where required on the construction site. Here we see lifting of a bundle of panels onto the floor that has just been completed, and each of those different colors will be associated with one particular area of that floor. Having placed the panels on the floor, the individual panels are then lifted into place, normally by crane, and are positioned accurately and then lined and leveled. And you can see here in the foreground, the wall panel is then stabilized by the attachment of a strut, as shown here. As you can see, the struts are placed on the floor at roughly 3 meter spacing and are fixed to the recently completed floor. It's essential that fixing is carried out from a movable scaffolding platform, as shown here, and never from ladders. So what are the components in a light steel package? Well, obviously the floor joists, wall panels, Z-sections, cleats and fixings are the main part, but we also see the use of floor cassettes and steel decking that is used when the floors have in-situ concrete placed on them. Often steel posts, steel beams and their bolted connections are provided, together with floor boarding. In some cases, bathroom pods are delivered, are placed on the floor as part of the package. Precast concrete or steel stairs are generally delivered as part of the light steel package. Steel or timber roof trusses can be provided and are placed on sole plates that are fixed to the top of the upper wall panels. In some cases, purlins can span between cross walls. And finally, sheathing boards and external insulation may be used. Here we see the installation of a large prefabricated floor cassette, in this case delivered with holes for servicing along its length. This is a good example of the mixed use of steel beams, posts and light steel framing. You see the beams and posts form the corridor, and the light steel walls form the corridor wall on one side and also the cross walls that will support the floor joists. Bathroom pods can be installed as the floors progress, as shown here. Stairs are an important part of the light steel package, and often in the form of either steel stairs or precast concrete. Stairs and half landings are often supported on steel beams, normally in the form of PFC or channel sections with a span up to about 3 meters. Square hollow section posts, known as SHS, which are normally 100 mm square, support the beams and are placed within the walls. Landings are often joisted, and the stair core is stabilized by X-bracing the light steel walls. Scaffolding is generally installed 2 stories in advance of the light steel framing, and therefore has to be self-supporting over this height. From level 3 onwards, the scaffolding is tied into the light steel floors. Now, because this requires some special attachment points, it should be agreed in advance with the light steel supplier. With scaffolding, normally extension tubes support 3 scaffolding boards at 1 meter spacing, and that allows one board to be removed when the cladding is placed. Here we see 2 images showing the use of scaffolding systems. On the left you can see the scaffolding extension tubes, in this case placed above and below the boards, and the inner board here will be removed once the cladding is placed. On the right hand side you'll see the use of ties that are fixed to the scaffolding and are screwed back to the perimeter C-section of the light steel floor joists. Edge protection can be provided relatively easy in light steel framing, in this case by screw fixing a C-section to the vertical members. When working from above, crash mats may be used, and obviously then the crash mats are moved from one area to another as the installation progresses above. It's very important that an accurate ground floor slab or foundation is obtained before the start of the installation of the light steel framing. The panels are often built up with packers up to about 10 mm thick that are placed below the load-bearing C-sections in the wall. Generally, light steel framing is manufactured slightly less than the perfect dimensions so that the structure doesn't grow over a long length. Floor joists may be supported on a Z-section placed over the wall, and the next wall is supported on this wall, so it's very important that the first wall is accurately placed. And finally, steel posts can be detailed to fit within the wall, and beams can be designed to fit within the floor zone so that they don't require downstands below the floor. So what have we learned about the installation of light steel framing? Panels are delivered in bulk, suitable for 2 houses or 4 apartments, and are delivered just in time to when needed on site. It's important to agree the method of working at a start-up meeting with the main contractor. The installation method requires dedicated use of a tower crane, or alternatively a mobile crane may be hired. An accurate ground floor slab or foundations and a clean working area are required before start of installation of the light steel framing. And finally, steel beams and posts are often installed along with the light steel frames, and they are built into the walls and floors.